We should start right here, right off this topic. This just came off the. Literally just came off the board last night. I was sitting up there, I was chilling, and everybody kept saying like, "Yo, you gotta see this, you gotta see this, you gotta see this." So I don't know if you had a chance to see or hear, but Jay-Z is in a lawsuit now about what the 13-year-old connected with the Diddy thing, as far as like whole rape allegations and stuff.
So why is she suing Jay-Z?
Because I guess it was Jay-Z and her and his peoples who kind of got this 13-year-old to get into a party, a Diddy party more or less. And obviously what it does, it connects a lot of dots. It connects that there's some sort of interaction there.
Is she 13 now?
No, she was 13 then.
How old is she now?
Probably, I want to say like maybe 25, 26.
Yeah.
I want to say it's like 10 years removed.
Sadly, doesn't that mean it's past clause?
No.
No.
It's not that.
I thought, you know, Vic, I thought the same thing when
Because
I
normally,
saw that story. Like,
you make a good point.
Yeah.
Is it past statute of limitations?
just
Good question. No. Only because when it's a federal thing, certain statutes are still in effect.
Yeah.
Because it's federal. This is not state. Now, keep in mind, this is a civil suit, so it's basically a money conversation, not a criminal suit. But here's the problem I have with this, and this is where I.
So real quick, we're not looking for justice. We're looking for bread.
That's my problem.
so
I have problems.
Join the club.
Who the hell have problems?
No, I have problems with this. So when I heard this story drop off,
I was just literally finna text you this
so
morning.
this story pops off. So here's how the story goes.
But I thought it was fake.
I thought it was fake too. But everybody, and you know,
Yeah.
when they hit CNN and TMZ, it's awesome.
It becomes a little less fake.
No, you know, when TMZ get their hands on it and they actually decide to roll something out, they don't roll it out without some sort of like fire being to it. So here's how the story goes. New York VMAs, 10 plus years ago, a 13-year-old gets dropped off at the VMAs with no ticket, no nothing, right?
No parents?
No. Getting there. Let me tell the story first. I'm gonna let y'all interject in a second. She gets there. She's going from limo to limo, trying to figure out how she could get into this event as a 13-year-old. Keep the 13-year-old in mind. I guess she gets to Jay-Z's limo driver or whatever, and I guess she, in her words, spoke to Jay-Z and said, you know, I'm trying to get into this party, you know, I'm trying to get there, trying to get to a party, whatever, trying to function, basically, in West Coast terms. Jay-Z said, oh, you're the type of girl that Diddy would like. Apparently, from what she said, that's what he said to her. And I guess, from all that, how that transpired, if he co-signs, and obviously co-signs her to get into the party. So she gets to the party, go through the VMAs, get to the party, she has to sign an NDA. NDA, non-disclosure agreement for the people who are uninitiated. No. Let me get here. No. I'm setting the table and I'm gonna let y'all rock. I got a lot of problems with this. So there's an NDA. So she gets to the party, you know, and then she says that certain things happened when she was there, and Diddy and Jay-Z watched, you know, participated in some other stuff. I don't want to go through the whole, like, you know, the sex, you know, all that stuff. I'm trying to keep it PG as much as possible. But I have so many problems with this story, and a lot of it has zero to do with her. It has to do with her, but it has zero to do with her. It has to do with everybody else around her.
I know why.
But I'm gonna let y'all go. That's the story.
Okay,
go first.
Okay, so there's a lot fishy about all this. What bothers me the most is she had to hop through a lot of hoops to even get to Jay-Z, right?
Yep.
Not any of those people who she interacted with were troubled by a lone 13-year-old.
First point. Very first point. You make the very first point.
All right, like none of them were bothered by a lone 13-year-old.
No.
13. All right, this would be a little more believable if she was like, say, 16, hell, 15.
So my thing is,
13?
You're a 13-year-old. Y'all know what 13-year-olds look like, right? I mean, certain ones could dress up and look a little bit older, but they 13.
No,
You could smoke out a 13-year-old a mile away.
You cannot hide being 13.
So 13-year-old. Let's start there. You're a 13-year-old who got dropped off at the VMAs.
That's why you're mad.
You're a 13-year-old.
I already know why you mad.
Getting dropped off at the VMAs. At the VMAs. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
I want you to go there. But she went through a whole bunch. But she went through a whole bunch of. So she went through a whole bunch of hoops.
Right, so
Yes, you're exact. I haven't got to my part yet, but go ahead. Go.
So we established that. We established a 13-year-old, 1-3, managed to get through multiple people to get to Jay-Z. Multiple adults, mind you.
To get to Jay-Z.
Just to get to Jay-Z. It's not even getting in the party yet.
Right.
She gets in his limo, uncontested, right? What I'm hearing.
Or at least to have a conversation, whether it's in the limo or not. But you at least
But
got in front.
she
got
got
in front
to
of him.
him.
Got in front of him to have a conversation
Right.
for what you said.
All right, she got to him, talked to him.
So let's start. Can I stop here right here for a second?
All right.
There is probably 7.8 million people who can't get to Jay-Z to get 2 words. So you mean to tell me that a
That's the second
13-year-old
part I knew you was gonna be right about.
could get to Jay-Z like that? Whereas there are certain grown adults who couldn't get to Jay-Z to save his life. There's certain grown men and
Those are
women
2 points. You already made my 2 points.
who can't get within 100 feet of this dude without like a handler body slamming you, elbowing you, putting a blicky on you. You know, you could be offering this man, hey, I got a dowry in my hand. Let me go see this dude.
Those
This
are the
dude
2
saying,
reasons why you were mad.
No. I ain't even got to that part. I ain't got to the mad part yet.
I know.
But keep going.
Okay, so here.
I'm just establishing points.
Now, here goes my point. First, who has the motion to have their son waiver?
That's a different problem I have. So
That's-
this is so the NDA.
So,
Who in their right mind is going to allow or take an NDA signed by a 13-year-old who don't understand the language of what an
On top of
NDA
that,
is?
It's null and void. She's a child.
When you're 13, you cannot sign. You can sign an NDA,
But it doesn't mean anything.
but you can bypass that NDA because you need to have some sort of parental or some sort of person to say that unless the girl is emancipated, meaning that she gave up her right, the parents gave up the rights to be the parents, all that stuff. Unless she's emancipated, that's the only way that can happen. Outside of that, the answer is it will be very hard to sit down and go. But anyway, go ahead, keep going.
that was 1 point. 2. What kind of parents or any guardian drop their 13-year-old off at a mansion party?
No,
Or whatever.
No, they didn't drop out the mansion party.
Okay,
They
whatever.
dropped her off.
Or dropped her off anywhere when I know where she was going.
Here's my problem. That's the first point I want to get to. You are a parent of a 13-year-old. I don't care if you're a single parent. I don't care if you're in a 2-parent household. I don't care if it's a mama. I don't care if it's that. Let's say neither one of the parents is there. I don't care if it's an auntie. I don't care if it's an uncle. I don't care if it's a grandmother or grandfather. 13-year-old. I would be very hard pressed.
Because when I was 13, unless my mama knew where I was going, she had to physically meet their parents or anything before she let me go anywhere.
You couldn't get off your block.
Yeah.
Right. You matter of fact, I'm gonna keep it one better. You couldn't even get next door to your friend's house
Without letting my mama know.
without letting your mama know I'm at my friend's house. Even if you were trying to sneak away to get to another block, you at least need to let them know that you was at least here.
What's her ethnicity?
Oh, she was black, of course.
Yeah, okay, so no.
No, but that's not. But what I'm trying to establish is as a parent. No, as a parent.
You don't hear this happening with other kids.
No. As a parent,
Not that it's a kid.
you would know where your kid is.
Sure.
Even if your kid was a bad, rebellious kid, it's like
Old leather's waiting for you.
Right. So let's say they're being rebellious and you really didn't know where your kid was, and then you were trying to find out later. You're a parent. What do you think about like
9:30ish, 10.
what time the lights go off in New York? Let's say 7 o'clock. What do you be thinking about where my 13-year-old is? Lights down. You gotta remember. Lights out, lights up, lights on, New York City. New York City's rough. You're talking about Radio City Music Hall where the VMAs are being held, which is basically downtown New York where all kinds of craziness happens. Y'all think it's crazy out here, it's crazy out there too.
Especially at the Big Apple.
You're thinking about, where's my 13-year-old? At least most sensible parents or guardians will be thinking about that. Where's my 13-year-old? Why are they there? Where are they, for one? And then time goes on. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Are you still your 13-year-old ain't there? What type of parent are you that you ain't following up where your kid is? Because if you were really concerned about your kid, the very first thing you'd have been doing is like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something happened to my kids. Oh, we on the block. We in cars, we trying to find, we calling everybody we know. And if we can't find them, guess what happens next? Guess what happens? No, guess what happens next? Everybody hitting the block. Aunties hitting the block, uncles hitting the block, mama hitting the block, grandmama's hitting the block. Everybody's on the block trying to hit to see where they are. Trust me. You calling friends, y'all go over here, y'all go check this out. Y'all go to Long Beach and check this out. Y'all go to Newport and check this out. Every single place that you could think of where your kid is going to be, you pulling up. Every single Dave and Buster's, every single golf stuff, every single park. You in the hood, you rolling through blocks just to make sure. And even if you go through neighborhoods you ain't supposed to. Yo, I'm trying to see if my kid is here. Yo, and you gotta check in. You gotta call. You gotta make a call. Be like, look, I'm pulling through. I ain't trying to start nothing. I just want to make sure see if my kid is here or not. Cool. Hey, we may leave those something. Here's a C note. Allow me to cruise through real quick.
And that's
we
what
gonna keep it cool.
I mean,
if you want to have one of your people's ride behind us and make sure everything's established, we do that.
You know what? I've been in those situations like,
I'm just saying that. I'm not trying to
100,
not trying to be funny. It's just this is how this happens. Because you will go through lengths.
Yeah.
I don't care what lengths it is to go make sure your 13-year-old is cool.
Oh, dude. Yeah, they would go so far to make sure they're okay. And the minute they make sure they're okay and they got them back, they're going to kill them.
Right.
But they got to get them back to do that.
Right. But that's the whole thing. You got it, But you're going to go through those links no matter where it is. You calling every single friend that you know. You calling school. Here's the thing. You're going to get to the police. Hey, police. This is what's going on. My kid's missing. They're gonna say they need 24 hours. Whatever. Yada yada yada. We already on the block.
Hold on. How long does it take before they make it missing?
24 hours.
24 hours. It takes 24 hours.
24 hours unseen by anyone.
Okay.
Yes.
I was always curious about that.
And so you will have to go through that.
Yeah.
At least for children. Adults, okay. But for kids, I would say 8 hours.
That's irrelevant
Right.
because, the adults
So I get it. 24 hours.
Okay.
So bad parent. That's the part. Second part. You mean to tell me that you can't distinguish between a 13-year-old and an 18-year-old? I can understand a 16-year-old, because 16-year-old and 18-year-olds, they kind of blend in, maybe, and even then...
That's being generous.
And even then, that's saying a lot. But can we establish something? Even back then, what's the rule? 16 get you 20. 16, if you're messing with a 16-year-old, is going to get you 20 years in jail. It's just the rule. So you mean to tell me a 13-year-old... No, you mean to tell me a 13-year-old was able to get there and talk to these adults? Keep in mind, she's talking to people she don't know. This limo driver, this security.
She's
person.
a nobody, right?
She's a nobody.
Not to be mean, but yeah.
I'm trying to follow the chain of events. You're a nobody who's on a random block who so happens to get close enough to the limo. Now, think about this part. How was she able to get that close to the limos?
She had to know somebody.
No, you have to be able to get in. Now, and I know the female pretty privileged thing, but you're a 13-year-old. You mean to tell me you got? I mean, I get it.
13-year-olds aren't pretty to do that.
They're not.
They're 13.
I know they're 13. You're not talking about a 21-year-old groupie. You're not talking about an 18-year-old groupie.
That's what I thought you said.
18-year-old groupie.
Hell,
Which because you gotta remember there is a culture of this.
Yes, it is.
And this culture is taught very young. This groupie culture. Let me go to these events where all these celebrities are, and let me just show my assets, and hopefully I can get into a function or two, and hopefully I can get a chance to talk with a celebrity, and we'll see what happens from there. This is the culture. Because they think that every single female who does it, they think that they're the one. They think that, well, if I can get in front of them, I can be the one to get into their life, and I can live this life. I know this. There is a culture of this. I know that most people don't really understand it, that there's a culture of this.
I think the sad thing too is that they don't even love the guy, they just want the resources.
They just want the resources. They'll do anything necessary to get the resources. Which goes back to the parenting, by the way. I am of probably 85% certainty that the parents knew what was going on and sent their kid out there to do this on purpose.
So, you think all this really happened, but under false pretenses?
I think it happens because there was something that was already established. Because you can't tell me that a 13-year-old is going to have even that amount of access to even get close enough to get to a limo of any celeb, let alone the Jay-Z's and Diddy types. I don't care if it is New York. You know how much security is around there to even get through? If you and I can't get through, if a 28-year-old can't get through without going through a whole bunch of security clearances and stuff, what makes you think a 13-year-old
So
can?
what you're saying is you think this was some, perhaps parents got in contact with the producer or something to manage to sell their child in
Basically.
a way.
Basically.
To get them in the party.
Basically.
For probably a sum of money.
Basically.
Okay.
Because here's the problem.
Wait a minute, so are we just saying that this was like some form of prostitution?
More or less.
More or less.
Because see, now she's turned around and saying that it's great.
So why not say the whole...
But the reason why it's a problem with that is because you're a 13-year-old who shouldn't have been there. Now,
you know,
you're not going to let your kid be out that long. No kid is going to have that type of access because no adult has that access. No adult has that access. Even certain females don't have that access unless they are like a 10-10. And I mean like a 10-10 in their eyes. And you got to go through a big vetting process to do it. Because if that was the case, they will be running 50 lines. And don't get it wrong, there is lines of women with them. That's what people don't understand. But they think that, well, Jay-Z's married, Jay-Z got Beyonce. Well, you don't understand that maybe he's not the one who was actually doing something, but he was funneling to people who is doing something like Diddy, because Diddy is the person.
He had Beyonce around that time.
He did have Beyonce. He had Beyonce for years. Beyonce's been with him since she was like 18.
She knows everything that's been going on. She do not care.
She knows because, again, when you're that high profile, you already know what's good.
Now.
But see, the problem I have is that you're putting this allegation out now.
Yeah. But see, here's the problem.
If you are a parent, let me.
Here, hold on. Let me say one thing before you get into it. I already know where you're going with this. It made her sign away. No, but still, even with this allegation, you still have to show proof. I mean, you can sit there and say, "Oh, I was on the video part," but you put something in paper. So any judge, without saying bias, will be like, well,
NDAs can be binding,
yeah,
except for in a case where there is minors involved, which supersedes the NDA. Let me be clear about that.
Signed by the parents.
I was gonna say
right.
that.
Unless the parents gave an okay, because again,
I can't see. Yeah.
no. Again, you're not wrong because
Yeah,
the parents have to really say.
I was thinking the same thing because I'm like, I can't see no 13-year-old.
A 13-year-old can't. I mean, because a 13-year-old, all they're gonna do is see the paper and sign it. They're not gonna know no better. You gotta have somebody to understand the language of things when you're signing off. This is why when you sign contracts, I don't care what it is, read the language of the contract. And if you don't understand it, you need to get somebody who can understand it. Typically, that's going to be a lawyer because there's going to be a lot of jargon, a lot of wording that you're not going to understand.
You could literally be signing up to be castrated and not know it.
Yes, you don't understand it, but you got to really understand the language of it. The reason why I never got into the music field in a regular form as far as like recording albums in this industry and stuff is because I knew all this stuff was happening. Even before it became mainstream like it is now. It was been going on for years.
Oh, dude.
This is nothing new, by the way. And most of these people are not immune from it because you got to go through these processes and they try to do things to make you and break you.
Yeah.
Now,
ever since contracts came into human history, there's been this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since then.
That's everywhere.
Now,
entertainment, sports, and everything. Especially wrestling.
Now, I have the one problem I have is that you can't be calling these adults did this to you years later, because when something happens to you that's that traumatic, it would be very hard pressed for you to keep quiet for like 10 years, 15 years. It's a long time to be keeping quiet. Now I understand that you can because it takes it's different for people to process. So I'm understanding of that. But dog, you're holding to that for like 15 years, and you just want to say this now, when everything else is popping off. You could have said this then. You could have been Cassie before Cassie. What do I mean by that? You're a 13-year-old. You could have asked for all this then. And guess what they would have done? Had to have paid you out. They had to. But see, here's the problem. You're doing this for the confines of money. You're not trying to go after them criminally. If you're going to go after them, and you said this happened, that is a criminal thing to a minor, which will put even if Jay-Z didn't do it. If he is an accessory, that still pins him because he's a minor. He would go to jail and do 10 as an accessory. And so this is why I say it's hard to follow, because if it is true, because it's an allegation. So let me completely preface that and say it's all alleged, it's not backed until they establish this in the court of law. And Jay-Z already said she ain't getting out 1 cent from me. So which leads me to believe that he has either good enough lawyers to get him off, or some of the story is not matched up. We're gonna find out as we go down.
Dog, this whole story stinks, man. Like milk in the Arizona sun.
No, but it's like you gotta understand, like the bigger picture of this is this. Think about.
Let me rephrase that. I'm not saying that a 13-year-old didn't wind up where she was or claiming to be. How she got there is what I'm questioning.
Oh yeah, no, it's too many adults. It's too many adults who are.
That's
like,
what I'm questioning. I do think this probably happened, but not how she's described.
Maybe she went on 13.
That's the other thing. So if she was comfortable enough to be in that party,
who else knows what kind of underage kids?
But see, this is why you know what's crazy.
If this was true.
If it's true, I'm not saying that we don't know with 100% certainty, because again, 13-year-olds lie.
All suspects are proven innocent.
No, you gotta prove this, and like I said, 13-year-olds tend to like exaggerate and lie about certain things that may have happened. Because the story is hard for me to really see that happen. But here's my bigger, here's the bigger picture.
Yeah, because I want you to say what I want you to say.
Here's the bigger picture.
Say what I want you to say.
You see, no. You see how they're trying to bust up Black Hollywood?
That's what I want you to say.
No. We're getting there.
And who's running? And who's smiling now?
No. So I want you to understand the whys behind it. So think about this. Diddy, they ran all this stuff on Diddy now. A lot of people say they ran up on him now because he was battling a tequila company who was well established with some really deep pockets, who said, we're going to take you down a notch. You're good, but you're not that good. You're not in the ranks of where we are. We're going to bring you down a notch because you've been doing a whole bunch of dirt. And if we release this dirt on you, we could put you away. And they kind of did. They're going to put him away.
Too big for his britches?
R. Kelly, we got all this dirt on you. If you don't move the way we want you to move, we're going to put you away. Jay-Z, as established as you are, and as established as we allowed you to be, y'all done dirt that if we release this, true or not true, the narrative is going to be, we could put you away. Here's the reason why. So think about, we'll take the Jay-Z premise for a minute. What does Jay-Z have control of right now? Or what he has control of? Which is super important, by the way. Jay-Z has had control over every single artist for the last 5 years, 6 years. No. He has control over every single artist in the last 5 or 6 years who performed at the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Why is that important? How many black owners is in the Super Bowl? Who black owners in football?
None.
No black owners. The owners has control of who. Jay-Z is the one who's been trying to get into this venue to be like, I want to be an owner. I want to be an owner. This blocks, this right here, releasing this, blocks him from ever becoming an owner of any NFL football team. It's done. But this also blocks him from putting black or hip hop or any artist on any big venue again. Because if this is true, he has to relinquish control over that. Which means that somebody else has to go in there and be the representative of music for the people to go on platforms like the Super Bowl to perform. So before Jay-Z had control over it, let me rattle off the people who was performing. Maroon 5, Coldplay, Bruno Mars, Black Eyed Peas, Madonna.
I know Madonna.
Black Eyed Peas was there. I'm just writing off this just a recent note. Justin Timberlake twice. What you want me to do? Want me lie? Want me to tell you the truth?
I know. That's why I'm
This is what you say though.
The way you explain
Twice? No, because here's the thing. The first time he was there, what happened? That's when the whole Janet Jackson, they think that, see, this is what I'm saying, they thought that was a setup because they were trying to set up Janet took a fall for that. That was Justin's fault. But they never put Justin on the hook for it. They tried to for a minute, but they really wasn't. They couldn't put him on the hook. Because he's the golden boy. And I'm not saying Justin's a bad dude. He ain't. He's a great dude. But Janet Jackson's supposed to be the fall lady because they were trying to get the money, the Mike thing. This is all before what happened with Mike happened. Because Mike had controlling power over what? The catalogs of Elvis Presley and the Beatles, which is, besides his own catalog and Prince's catalog, those are the 4 most valuable catalogs in music. You know the next biggest catalog in music now is Jay-Z's catalog. He's the next biggest catalog. They want that from him. But you can't take it from a billionaire. But if you knock him down enough, you can probably get your hands on it. Y'all see how this works? And keep in mind, everybody's saying, well, Jay-Z's a Democrat. That's part of it too. I mean, that's a different conversation altogether. Because he didn't follow suit with a lot of what the Republican Party would be. And that's part of this too. But more importantly, you're knocking down pegs to let you know that as big as you think you are, there's always bigger powers in play. As street as y'all think y'all are, y'all street can't match up with what we can do to you.
I mean,
you could get touched.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing is like, see, the problem with being a bigger fish is that there's just more meat for the next predator.
Right. You could get touched. I don't care how big you are. Diddy just found this out. Kanye found this out. all these people are starting to find out that you can get touched.
You think people would realize this because, you know, United States presidents have been assassinated. What I'm saying is like, yeah, anyone can get touched, killed, knocked down, or targeted. It's like no one's untouchable. That's a myth.
But here's the thing. A lot of these people do it to themselves. The only way that they can have something on you is if you did something for them to have something on you.
Well, yeah, it's like, okay, so kind of like sticking to the fish analogy. The only fish that are going to be eating you or attacking you are the ones in the same pond,
Right.
aka people in your vicinity.
Right.
You know, it's not going to be coming from outside, it's going to be coming from inside.
Right. But they did the dirt themselves to put themselves in these positions for this stuff to happen. If you wasn't doing dirt like that, meaning that if you wasn't letting 13-year-olds hang out at your party, guess what? Guess what? A lot of these problems are not there. Y'all allowed it to be, and now this is the consequences for y'all allowing it to be. Because you gotta understand, with all this stuff going on, and people, y'all gallivanting, y'all like, I'm the king of the world. King Kong ain't got, yeah, y'all say all that stuff, right? But you gotta remember, for when you're at the top, the hardest thing to do is to maintain. Because there's always gonna be people who their whole sole purpose is to get a piece of your action or to bring you down. No, they want to bring you down. They don't want to be on your level. They want to get what you are and jump ahead of you. That's the dog eat dog mentality. I don't care how good you think you are. There's always people who are going to hate.
In everything.
In everything.
In everything.
We do something simple as a podcast, and there's still people who hate that. They ain't gonna tell us directly in our face, but I know they hate it. Because the people who love it, they always tell, hey, we love what y'all do. But there's always haters. We understand that too. And it's okay. Because we're not going to give y'all no dirt for y'all to do stuff like that. Y'all ain't going to get us implicit of that stuff. That's where we're different.
Amen.
The difference between a lot of people and them is that we're not going to... I try not to give people leverage like that. Because when they have leverage, that means you're giving them control. And the problem is when you do certain things, and this is what I say, too much liquor, too much drugs, all that stuff, when y'all be doing, when y'all see these celebrities and y'all see the lifestyle that they live, this is what happens when you're on drugs. This is what happens when you are on liquor all the time. This is what happens when you have power and you think that your power trumps everybody else's. You're not the bigger fish. You can always get touched. That's the moral of the story. Even if this ain't true, just this rolling through the news feeds is damaging enough. They just have to roll through the news feeds.
Jay-Z,
because I know everybody says innocent until proven guilty. You know, innocence is very hard to establish when the narrative is, we already knew all along that you were involved in this process. We just didn't know how deep you were into it. And if it's a minor involved, and they didn't wait to get Jay-Z with like just a regular person. They made sure it was a minor. Why? Because you can't skate around minors. When it's an allegation in regards to minors, it's hard to duck that.
Yeah, funny enough, when minors are involved, it's pretty damn major.
Yep, it's a major thing. Anyway, I just want to talk about that for a little bit, but that's not even what I want to talk about. I got a different story I want to talk to y'all about.